My name is Ken Ent. I'm the design team leader here at Cipriani Remodeling Solutions. I lead a team of 9 other very talented, very creative designers. We have a couple here. I think many of you have already met Ed. And we have Manny as well. Give a wave. They will be around to also speak with you a little bit one-on-one at the end of our talk today. And we might not get to everyone naturally, but we certainly encourage everyone to have us come out to your home. It's complimentary. It's the beginning of our 5-step process, which you'll be learning about tonight, amongst many other valuable things. To help encourage you to set up that appointment, we are offering a $25 gift certificate to Lowe's. It will be delivered to you with your designer when they come out to your house. To make sure that that process follows through, Todd, whom you checked in with, will be setting up that appointment with you, giving you a reminder, and then you'll also have a little voucher so that you know it can be redeemed. Sound good? Nice. You know, we love to put on these seminars because they're very educational, they're very informative. Remodeling can be a little bit overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. So we like to share not only what our process is, but just explain there are many different ways to go about doing your project, right, wrong, to give you guys some insights, but also a path that you can follow, because people are investing in their homes. The joint housing from Harvard, they do a study, and homeowners are investing, they project $522 billion in 2026 is what homeowners will be investing into their home. That's everything from remodeling, but roofing, siding. These is 2 existing structures. Last year, it was $509 billion. That's with a B. So you're getting on your way to the trillions mark. So everyone is investing in their homes. So that is often very comforting knowledge. It's an investment that you want to keep a great return on by improving it, but also the way that it affects your quality of life, the way that you use the space, the way that that space can function for you are all very important things. And we're also going to look at the roles that those things play when it comes to the planning. So I guess I will dive right in and say, what is our agenda? Today we will be discussing, well, how to get started. There's a lot to consider. We'll be looking at Cipriani's 5-step process, and then the Q&A that I mentioned earlier we'll have as well. So you might ask yourself, how do I begin my project? How am I going to formulate a plan? And the best way to do that is to formulate a plan that's based on your priorities. And I guess the next question is, how do I know what my priorities are? Sorry, I'm jumping around. I have a little clicker here. Priorities can be defined a couple of different ways, and they vary from person to person. That's what makes this so interesting. Everybody has a different set of priorities. But defining those is done by, first off, understanding what is your design inspiration? What is your style? There are a couple ways to go about that by gathering photos on Pinterest. You can do it the old-fashioned way and tear out of a magazine. Getting that, how does the place want to feel? What is my style is really important. But here's the key one for me. Is this project right for the needs of my family? Are my family needs going to be met? When I do this, what am I going to improve, not just in the aesthetics? How do I choose the right materials and colors? What level of investment makes sense? Everyone has a budget that they need to work within, and setting your priorities, well, that's going to help determine what your budget should be or can be. So we've heard of the I must have, the must-have list. People say, based on what they might like or what the inspiration photos have brought about in their mind's eye for how this project should be. There's other things like the I'd like to have list. Some splurges, some extras, or some maybe indulgences in terms of design. But another component of this is, what do I need to do to my home for the sake of the home, the health of the home? So as you're doing these remodeling projects, if you are taking out all of the drywall, we call that a full gut remodel. The insulation, let's look at that. That might need to be upgraded. It's going to improve the home's performance. Electric will often need to be upgraded just simply to meet the standards and the codes that are in place, and they are in place because of safety. And that's really a great thing. So a dedicated ground fault interrupter. I heard some conversations earlier, people were sharing the ages of their homes. I heard a couple late 80s, and even those homes aren't up to today's electrical code standards. So those are things that most homeowners don't even think about. It's just I must have this and I'd love to have that. But as you start to think about what is the right scope of work, what are your priorities, the health of the home, and the return that provides. So what is the right time of the year to start? If you're doing a kitchen project, might be great to have the remodeling done when it's barbecue season, right? Or you could plan a vacation and say, well, I don't want to be around when the work's going on. The hassle, the mess, the inconvenience, I might want to schedule that, and that can make sense too. We handle that because we have a camera and a special app that you could actually just look in and see what's going on, in addition to all of the other ways that we communicate to homeowners. But the right time of year, what hidden costs should I expect? And I'll just simply say that when a project is developed correctly and thoughtfully, there really shouldn't be any additional costs. There shouldn't be any hidden costs. So the next thing is, will I need permits? And the answer is most likely. Whenever you are adding or modifying or deleting the existing plumbing or electric, you're going to need a permit for that. Again, it's great that you get these permits. It means that the work is being checked by your township, and it will be approved. And this also means that there won't be any hassle. At some point, you're going to be selling your home. They want to know that all of the work that's been done has been permitted. I think a big example of that is when people don't do a permit, they think, I don't need to do one for my basement. They'll never know. They didn't know if I had a finished basement or not when I bought the house. I'm going to sell the house. They're not going to know, but unfortunately they will. And it's possible that they could say, well, I need you to strip away some of the drywall so we can inspect the electric, inspect the plumbing connections. So it can actually come back against you in a retro way. So always get permits. The most important question is, how do I choose the right contractor? So we're going to talk about that more in depth. Absolutely have a contractor who is insured. Are they registered with the state? Are they reputable, reliable? Are they an actual entity or a guy in a truck that you're going to need to be chasing down, right? Can they provide references for similar projects? Absolutely. I'll go one even better. I would be asking them, are you an expert at kitchen remodeling? How many walk-in showers or zero barrier showers have you done? It's kind of like if I'm going to go have heart surgery, I'm going to ask my surgeon, have you cut somebody open before? Have you done this? How's your suturing? Right? You want somebody who's really experienced, who really knows what they are doing. So with that is, how long have they been in business? Are they a stable commodity? Unfortunately, there are some statistics that prove that after 4 years, more than half of people in the remodeling industry go out of business, and they're not much help to you once they've gone away. So that speaks to things like warranty. Another one on our list. Do they offer an extended warranty? Let me ask a question. Who would like to volunteer and answer? And the question is, in the state of New Jersey, what do you think the requirement for the period of time on a warranty is? Anyone?
1 year.
1 year. 1 year? I heard a couple of 1 years, which is a very standard answer. Gold star goes to, what's your name? Ed. Ed and Trish. Nothing. None. There is no requirement for warranty. It simply has to be in writing. I offer you 0 days. I offer you 1 day. I offer you 365 days. They just are only obligated to put that in writing so that you have full disclosure on that. An extended warranty speaks to someone who is really confident in their work, stands behind it, and this is where working with a company who's been in business for a long time is really important. They're not going to be one of those 4-year flunkies. And then they're going to be standing behind their warranty. Would anyone like to guess how long Cipriani's warranty is? I'll give you a clue, it's more than 1 year.
Oh,
Can't repeat that, because everyone says 1 year. 3. Yes, what is your name?
Sue.
Sue, gold star for you, too. Awesome. Yes. And one of those reasons is that, well, we live in a part of the country that experiences extreme cold, extreme heat. With that, you have your swings in humidity. Things are going to shrink and swell and move and settle. So that 366th day of the year, or after your project has been completed, there's still going to be some settling, some movement. Now, the way that we install things, we make sure that that is at an absolute minimum. Without getting into a big detour on that, the right installation methods are critical to that. The right adhesives and fasteners. We are comfortable standing behind our work for a period of 3 years because we know it's going to look as great and perform for that whole 3-year period. But you want that assurance. I would hope. Is that something that you would want? Yes. And what's your name?
Karen.
Karen. Thank you for helping me out with that. Yes. Okay. What do their online reviews look like? Nowadays, everything is done online. We go in Google or wherever else, what do their online reviews look like? Kind of tying that back into references. You should ask the company, who can I speak with person to person to hear about their experience? How about a project that you recently completed? That's what most people think about. I want you to ask for a referral of a project you completed 3 years ago, 5 years ago, so that you can really understand how is the quality held up. If there have been any concerns, how were they addressed? Were they acknowledged? Were they handled in a timely manner? And was it taken care of to your complete satisfaction? So going back to how I spoke, we can offer our warranty because of the best materials and installation techniques. Do you even necessarily know what those are or how to define them? So you don't really know if a guy's going to build a wall. Yeah, I use good lumber. I go to the big box store and I get it. Well, is that kiln-dried wood? Is it really straight and true? I've gone in there for some of my own projects, and I have to pick through what's up there to find lumber I would even want to buy, right? So how do they ensure that what's behind the walls is going to be of top quality? We, as a company, our designers are very knowledgeable in construction and can educate you guys. That's part of our role. And does the contractor use subcontractors for a job? Does everybody know what a subcontractor is? Sometimes it gets a bad rap, and I guess it gets a bad rap because there's not a lot of information behind that. Who is the guy doing my electric? Who did you sub out that work to? That's not how we operate. Now, granted, we don't have our own electric license, so we rely on our trade partners. That's how we refer to them, because they are a stable set of companies, 3 or 4, just enough that we always have someone reliable to perform the works when we need it with our schedule. But these are companies that we have long-standing relationships with. We give them a considerable amount of work, so they are always ready to meet what our needs are, whether that's scheduling. They also understand us as a company, not only in the standards of work that we expect from them, but also conduct, that these guys are also good family men, reliable, trustworthy, in the same way that we put that emphasis on our in-house crew.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Is that on electrical only?
It can vary from project to project depending on what works best for the schedule. But I like to use electric because it's a very common example. So I'm going to talk about Cipriani's 5-step remodeling process. And you don't have to write these down because I'm going to look at each of these a little bit more in depth. So step 1 is listening. When someone comes out to your home, what do you expect from them? Well, they show up on time, they're polite, and they didn't track in mud on their boots, right? Besides that, you want to feel heard. You want to know that somebody cares about your project, they care about you, they care about your home, and they care about what's going to happen through it and at the end. That all begins with active listening. Have you guys heard that term before? Yes. It means that that individual is fully engaged. They're taking good notes. They're hearing what is the most important to you and your family. There should be a discussion about design, your objectives related to that. A little bit of discussion about budget. Again, we have the must-haves, the I would like, and even if you're not talking numbers in terms of budget, you say, these are my priorities, and Ken, Ed, Manny, when you go back and you start your design process, consider giving me everything. But if you think that it's going to exceed my budget, help me prioritize these things. Some of it is also, fiscal feasibility, but building feasibility as well. You might have grand ideas of, also heard someone say, I want to remove the wall next to my kitchen and expand that area into the dining room. Is that feasible from a building perspective? Well, sure, most anything is possible. You put the right engineering solutions behind it. Is it feasible to what you're comfortable investing is the other side of that coin. They should be taking measurements. They should be taking a detailed evaluation. You don't want someone just walking in there and $100,000, please. What are they basing that on? How are they coming about that? So measurements, a record of some of the existing conditions, looking at your electrical panels, seeing what you can determine. Are there some already dedicated circuits? Do we have enough space in the box, whether that's the ability to put in another breaker, but also is the amperage available? Because some breakers might already be split. Some of you might know what that means. Some of you might not. Your designer, when they come out to your house, can fill you in on that. And they should also be talking about next steps. What's going to happen? So how many of you have had a contractor come in to your home and they said, I'll email you something in 3 days. Then they disappear, right? That's pretty common. What is the next step? What can you expect for them and when? And what's going to happen with that next step? Getting an estimate in the mail isn't going to tell you much. It's a number with some details that you have to decipher yourself. So step 2 in our process is the design. Alrighty. How do we create a design for you? What happens after the before? We're going to prepare a scope of work. Scope of work is the details of the different trades, skills that are involved with that, trim work. Are we doing fine carpentry? What plumbing are we adding? So it's looked at from what are the parts and pieces for your remodeling project based on what we learned in your home and mapping all of that out. What the designers do also, they take their measurements and they create a before plan. That's going to be really helpful for them as they get started down the path of all of the possibilities. What happens when you remove a wall and you want to expand that kitchen? What are we doing with all of that other space? And can I fit in that island that they requested? Will it work spatially? Can I sit 12 people that they asked to have gather around their island? I've actually had somebody ask me for 10. So we had to get into a little discussion about, what the logistics of that looks like.
Stadium seating?
Stadium seating, exactly. Well, it was good. That's a much better answer than me, which I said, put somebody on your shoulders. Much better answer.
Work that in the design.
Yes, so they can start to come up with a preliminary plan. And the nice thing is, it's just the start, but you need a starting point. It's the starting point of the further discussion. How can we develop this? Is this the right layout for your kitchen cabinets? And when they're in your home, they're going to ask you thoughtful questions like, what does your morning routine look like? You making coffee? Are you preparing breakfast? Do you have kids that you need to make lunch for? Are you wonderfully retired and you want to just sit at your island all day and you want a bigger window so you can see the backyard, and this is where you read the newspaper or do your hobbies, but you like doing it in the kitchen because that's just your routine. Those types of things really are needing to be explored more carefully. Again, Ed and Manny are incredibly talented at coming up with a thoughtful, logical layout for kitchen cabinets, but that doesn't mean it's going to match with the way you intend to use your kitchen. So again, just preliminary, but a great way to say, these are the changes that we are making, this is the scope of work, so that can kind of all come around to saying what is an initial investment range. Those are things that we do for you and share with you at step 2. Happens right here at this table, right about here. You get to see it up on the big screen. So it's a fantastic experience. Again, that is complimentary, just like coming out to your home is. This is an example of the scope of work that we put together into a proposal. So you get a packet that has what we call our blue and white. I'll jump around. That outlines the scope of work. This is a proposal that we put together. We call it the blue and white. I hope you can see why with the blue lines there. Those are the categories, but again, saying this is my electric, this is my plumbing. Is there under cabinet lighting like we have here? Is there toe kick lighting? So things that you know are included, not included. And you can add, you can subtract. Again, preliminary. Wanted to jump back this way to the preliminary drawings. What we use is Chief Architect. It's a fantastic software with many, many capabilities. But to get started in the before and the after, now you can look at, well, everything's been measured correctly. They're going to confirm the center of your window so that we understand the cabinetry that has to exist around that, particularly with your upper cabinets. That's really important. But now we get to look more thoughtfully at clearances. And my team is trained and know all of the recommended clearances. It's kind of like saying recommended is another bare minimum. Recommended that is like a minimum. Sometimes you might need more space. I'll give you an example of what that means. There is a recommended distance around a range. This is where the range is in this layout. This was just showing cabinetry. But what is the recommended distance between the range and an island or other obstruction? Well, we can employ the recommended, which is a minimum, but if you have 2 chefs instead of 1 chef, you're gonna need some more space. Somebody's your sous chef, they're your little helper, they're your cleanup person. All right, what's the relationship between now the sink where they're doing some of that prep and that cleanup? So figuring those things out, again, really about how you cook, how you use your kitchen. But from a 2D plan, there are different degrees that we can look at things in our 3D. And this is a line drawing. It starts to give you an understanding of the spatial requirements and kind of start to what it will look like. And I'm going to show you examples a little bit later of the other degrees of 3D that we can show you. So that person that came out to your house, hopefully they are a designer. They're going to be the ones that best understand the intricacies of remodeling because they work with families. It's that very personal thing. But I like to say, what is the role of the designer? First and foremost, and it's not even up here, is they are a coordinator. Because they are taking all of the information that you provide for them, and they're with you throughout the whole process of selecting materials, things like that. But they are also coordinating with all of the other people that are involved, your builder, possibly your architect. They are that person that translates between everything, understanding how it's going to get built. They're working with production. So, would anyone like to be the coordinator for themselves, take on all of those responsibilities, roles? No, no.
Do enough that
Saw you nudge them, like speak up, say no. I don't want you to do it either, right? So you can act as your own designer, but you're taking on a lot of things. And do you know the right questions to ask yourself? Do you know what's out there in the marketplace? What new products that exist? So it can be tough to be your own designer. It can be fun because if you just think that it's about selecting materials and having it be pretty, that's just 1/4 of really the full set of responsibilities. Okay, so another option is you can hire your own interior designer. So you're getting that level of expertise and they're acting as that coordinator between the architect, but they're all under different roofs. They have different emails, extensions, different offices, different times that they work. So that's a possibility, but it's so much better when it's all under one roof. That's what design build gives to you. The role of the designer, you want to partner with a company that does provide a remodeling designer. Hopefully did I build a decent case that you say, yeah, I think I want that? Nudge them again. This time the answer is yes. Yes, I want that. Okay, good.
He has the vision, just to carry through.
Right, okay. So I talked about these things already. When you're the designer, you've got to manage all of that. What an interior designer, architect, also means that, well, these could be additional significant costs. Because they're under different roofs, it could really delay any kind of progress. And plans will change. They will evolve is another way of thinking that. I have never seen a project that through the process didn't evolve many iterations, improving each time. So it could be confusing for who's getting the updates. Are they communicating those things? Are they making the changes in a timely manner? So when you work with a remodeling designer here at Cipriani, the whole idea is that everything is integrated. It makes it a much smoother process for you, which means less stress. And the outcome is going to be much more successful. Again, shorter and just kind of fun. Remodeling can be fun. Planning can be fun. It is. That's our job, is also to make it fun, right? But what we do, there's no additional cost. It's all part of the services that we provide. And what's fun is we get to guide people. I said the educational process or component of that is not only important, but that can be really fun, really enlightening. If you do enough projects, someday you can be up here. You're going to learn so much that you can be up here talking about it yourselves. All right, so let's recap with steps 1 and 2. You've gotten your preliminary ideas. You've met with contractors. They've provided some 2Ds, maybe not. Not everyone does that. There are a lot of people, if you'll allow me to take a little topic detour, that there's a lot of companies that claim to be design build. It's a nebulous term for some. You say, oh, you have a designer? Yeah, my girlfriend's really great at picking out tile. She can help you with the lighting. But they'll call themselves design build. Not everyone is an actual design build company, right? So that means they're probably not giving you drawings either. They probably don't have the software or the talent or the time to produce those 3D drawings. And as we look at them again, they'll be coming up. They're so impactful, really, that you get to see all of your decisions come together. They've shared an estimate based on your goals and discussed the possible materials. That's what we do. We like to touch and feel. Now, we don't have a ton of samples, but we have trusted showrooms that we have relationships with. We can depend on them because we know that when we place an order, they're double checking it as well. They understand our delivery times. And if there are ever any kind of considerations, hiccups, they are going to resolve them quickly. So materials are discussed at your review appointment. And now the big question is, are you going to choose a company that offers a remodeling designer? And if you are, I'm going to tell you about step 3, what we do after that, right? So getting into that is very simple. It's no big commitment from you, financially, really, or otherwise. It's just a very modest step to take, which is now we're going to refine all of the details about your project. This is where I mentioned before about the conversations that are had. How do you really use your space? What is it going to be the best return on your investment? Because we're solving problems and we're improving things. So we're going to refine everything with technical layouts, because great design is more than just pretty. Much, much more. It's all about solving problems. As we continue to do that, we'll be able to look at your budget considerations. Now we're really being able to have those important conversations about that must-have list. Great, we've accomplished all of those. Now we can start to dissect more your wish list items, helping you to understand the cost and budget ramifications for each of those to help you make an informed decision. What's going to really benefit me? What do I just want? Like if you just want something, that's great. But there's another way to look at it too. What's going to give you a great return on investment? So that going back to the theoretical take down the wall between the kitchen and the dining room, and sometimes that's a very, if it doesn't accommodate in your budget and you need to shift things around to make that happen, that could be a great thing to do because that's going to add even more return on that investment. We know what home buyers are looking for. We know that because of all of the studies that we see and all of the families that we talk to. These are the kinds of things that improve someone's function. So it's going to add more value to your project by by doing something like that. So it's less of a, well, I'd like to have, there's a greater, logic behind doing something like that. It's about making your home the way that not only you want to use it, but others will, and that's going to have a great payoff. We're doing site visits. Now we can work with our trade partners who come out to your house and they're looking at your electrical. They're using a little test meter into outlets to understand what is interconnected. So another thing about electric and code that you typically have to upgrade pertains to a bathroom. It's not enough that it is on a dedicated, or that it's on a GFI, a ground fault interrupter. It has to be dedicated. So what's coming out of your box, we also refer to that as a home run. It's a home run because that line doesn't go anywhere else. It goes just to the bathroom and only serves the bathroom. What we have found is that in homes prior to 1990, it's very common where that line coming through up the walls and into the bathroom, well, it stopped somewhere first. It did that outlet that's in the hallway right before you get into the bathroom. Oh, and by the way, after it's all done that, it also has one of the outlets in the bedroom on the other side. Those are things that we need to upgrade. Okay? So we can find out those things via site visits. We're looking at, is your wall that you're considering to take down, is it structural? So if you were to take down a wall, who wants to guess some of the things that might be in that wall that you have to consider? Electric, plumbing, a gas line, absolutely. Yes, HVAC, ductworks, and air conditioning, all of those things. And when they're also servicing the second floor, if you're taking out that, how am I going to reconnect to the second floor? Is it a feed or a supply? It's providing the conditioned air, or is it a return? And if it's that main return, because that's kind of, it's HVAC system, I like to say, is not that different than your circulatory system. Instead of your blood carrying oxygen, the home, it's air that's conditioned. The oxygen gets there and now it's got to, to your cells, and it's got to come back. It needs new oxygen. So is it a supply, is it a return? But everything has an aorta and a main return. And it's all going to come back. And very frequently that wall that you want to remove will have the main where everything branches back to or out of. We can handle it, but you need to know that early on so that a plan can be made and a cost that's associated with that can be presented to you. And then it goes back to, okay, we've got this still in on it, great. We might need to maybe go with that more economical countertop or whatever other compromise, trade-off. Again, I like to say informed decision. It's really about you determining what your investment level is and how you're going to go and get there. And then, of course, selecting the materials. Here's some renderings. Again, we get to use our software that has dimensions. You're going to know about your clearances. We can do more sophisticated two-dimensional. This one's a little bit blocky. But this was a kitchen that was done blocky in terms of the graphics on it. I'm going to show you something really cool next. But this is all of the same kitchen. This plan can be presented to show the herringbone pattern. Then you can really wow somebody. Race tray is the way that this is generated. Very, very lifelike. Now you can really see the herringbone tile and what that's going to look like from the scale. And do you like the way that it adds visual texture to your kitchen? And do I have the right level of contrast with my backsplash to my countertop? Which one am I showcasing? Which is the one that's really going to grab my attention, be that wow statement? That they're not also competing against one another? Do I have the right focal point, and how do I really see that this is the expression that I want it to be. You will have so much confidence being able to see your project in this way, and you'll be like, yeah, I get it. I'm great. We're going to do this, right? You're just going to feel really good about all of your decisions, but the best way is with quality 3D software that's really going to let you experience it before we have to start to build it. I'm going to talk now a little bit about design styles, since we've been talking about material selections, and then I'm going to continue back with our 5-step process, because this is kind of fun too, right? Your materials. Let's talk about some trends, some design styles. Well, what you see right here is universal khaki and silhouette. Those are 2 colors, one from Benjamin Moore, silhouette. That's their color for 2026. There's a lot of science, almost as much art that goes into color forecasting. Looking at where is design as a concept moving towards, so that the companies behind it can now produce products that are going to be in demand. Color forecasting is a big part of that. Universal khaki is from Sherwin-Williams. And we can see that already in a lot of materials that are out there in the market, but how is that being expressed? Look at these beautiful warm tones in this kitchen. Natural wood is making its comeback. Who in the last 20 years have heard of a white kitchen? You actually, you went like this. Oh, if I hear white kitchen again, right? That's all we've been hearing about is white kitchens, and now we've been breaking free of that. There have been some other colors like navy, hunter green that have been worked in with white. And look, there's nothing wrong with the white kitchen. It's very versatile. And you can bring in personality with that. You can bring in other colors, but we're finally getting to really more of a turn in the corner, because it's about more of an environment. White can be a little bit sterile. So our warm wood tones, very much in style. And we can see how some of the rich colors are also coming back, and the way that when you layer them, it really creates a dynamic kind of environment. Oop. So I already talked about that white and how wood is coming back. I just love this, believe it or not, Butler's Pantry. This is a project that we did. I look at this every day and go, I just wish that was my kitchen. Yeah. I would be happy if that was just my kitchen. What you don't see over here, it had a wall oven, it had a dishwasher. Indulgent? No. We should all have this. We all deserve it. That's what remodeling is, about getting you what you deserve. But I just think that this is so stunning. It's such a stunning space. Right.
It's not the budget.
Right. Open spaces, absolutely. I discussed earlier about how impactful it can be on the return on investment, because that's how we live and what future buyers are looking for. This is the same kitchen. The photo just doesn't show that the stairs begin right here, but that was the extent of the kitchen. It went as far as there. And behind it was a little dining area, and behind it, the family room. It was very compartmentalized. In fact, the middle area was really impractical. So opening that up, it's like a whole new world. It's a whole new possibility of function, of look, of atmosphere, just very transformative. Natural light. Everybody loves natural light. Our bodies respond to it. Our psyche responds to it. I love the fact that we just got to turn our clocks forward. So when I'm leaving the office at 7 o'clock now, it's light. It's so wonderful. The power of natural light. So how are people incorporating that into their remodeling projects? Well, it could be coordinated with a focal point behind the tub. And maximize the feeling and the expansiveness of that, really. Not only changes the room, but when you're in that tub, it's a whole other way of bathing, right? We do a lot of sunrooms, things, additions. When people are putting on a family room, they want to feel that sense of connectedness with nature and their yard. And whether that's to see a deer running across or admire the flowers that you worked really hard on last season to get your bulbs in time for them to sprout. You know, how many windows, how many doors are you facing north? Are you facing east or west? So the quality of light, the amount of light. I like to look at things in terms also of multiple exposures. And here's an example in this bathroom. Multiple exposure means that you have a window on two different walls. So as the sun is tracking across throughout the day, you're getting more natural light. This is where people gather. You have friends over. Do they stay in the living room? Do they stay in the family room? No, there's like a gravitational force that brings everyone into the kitchen and specifically at your island. So we have great ways of creating that where we can get as much seating. Sometimes it needs a leg support. How will that be articulated? What is the size of that? How does it match your cabinetry? And what we love also is a waterfall leg. And that is a continuation of the countertop. And when you have the right slab and the right dimension, they can cut it, miter it, join it, such that the pattern transfers straight through. There's some planning that's involved with that, not just in picking out your slab, but working with the fabricator to make sure that that's executed. And that's another thing that my team does for you. You don't have to worry about it. I mean, you can be involved. There's some technology that's out there called Slabsmith. I'll let my team explain that to you when they come out to your home. But it's a way, all right, I'll give away a little bit of it. It lets you map out before they actually do the fabrication, and they have some software that does that. Okay. But we're here to just make sure that all of that planning gets executed right. But everything is about function, function, function. So what we're seeing are more effective.
Here for the bathroom, not the kitchen.
Oh.
We might need to resuscitate somebody in the audience.
I'm sorry.
I love a gasp. That's great.
Oh my God,
I thought she was on the mixer.
no, that whole cabinet on that.
So they're called a blind corner cabinet. And boy, they can be blind, because you're like, I might as well be blind. I don't know what is in here. I can't reach in it. I can't see it.
Space. Like
Yes.
You have a closet and then you pull out the ranges. Such waste.
Can be very wasteful. It's right. You don't have you put your big crab lobster boiling pot in there, and it comes out once a year because that's all you can really do with something like that. Many cabinet manufacturers have great accessories that they can provide. There's also third-party manufacturers, and we deal with both a lot because there's just more offerings, more specialty things that are available. But yes, this shape allows it to kind of serpentine as it goes into that blind corner cabinet.
Just curious.
It's just a specialized kind of pull-out. That for a blind corner cabinet doesn't have an exact name.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry, I couldn't be more specific. You know what? Let's make up a name, and then we're going to brand that, and we're going to call it from now on. That's the Wow Pull-Out.
Wow, pull out.
Yes. I think this is pretty much a wow, because how heavy are mixers, right? They're heavy, and they're not very convenient. If you do a lot of baking, this might make great sense, because you can do all of your mixing right there. As that retraction goes down, that stays level, in and out, it locks down, it locks up. So it saves valuable countertop space, and it just might save a stretched back, right? Function, function, function. At the sink, our workplace sinks have different accessories that help you, cutting boards that fit into the grooves right there. I do a lot of cooking. I hope you all do as well. I also come from a restaurant background where sanitation and cross-contamination were things that were just so ingrained, so chicken juices freak me out, right? So these things allow you to work more sanitary. You're cleaning up right there, where you can rinse your vegetables and let them drain. This is a expandable drying rack. There are so many things that you can do within a workstation sink, and there are different layers to it as well. I use one from Kohler quite frequently where it's tiered, so now you can double up, the things. Can you put too many things in there? Yeah, but it's nice to have options because there are accessories for different tasks. Has anyone heard this term before? Color drenching? No? Well, it's a thing. Thank you. Yes, it is a thing. It's real. And it means that you are painting the entire room the same color. Now, you can use it to different shades or different saturations. Your ceiling doesn't have to be the exact, but it's still going to be in the same hue, just lighter. Right? And what that does, it's unifying. You might have noticed that we've done the same here on our wall in the middle area where you went through to grab your stromboli. And it just is a way of looking at the architecture. It highlights the architecture in a different way. You're removing that contrast. It's about the nuance and subtlety of it. So having molding is really going to play that up. I think those are the environments where it works the best. I don't think this trend will ever change. People are wanting a spa-like atmosphere. Yay, because you're here for a bathroom. Yes. How would you define a spa-like atmosphere? What does that mean to you?
Openness, not a lot of boundaries,
Okay.
relaxation,
Relaxation.
just it's an escape. It's not just a function or
Right.
a to-do.
Okay.
It's just like somewhere where you can just really,
Relax.
yeah.
Start your day out or perhaps end a stressful day. That atmosphere is something that can be rejuvenating for you. We use our bathrooms a lot, right? Morning, night, you want to go in there and instead of it being a rush to start your day or, it should be that moment of peace. And a lot of people are looking for a spa-like, so it can be in the way that you think about openness or maybe more natural light.
It's not only starting the day, it's winding down the day,
Winding down the day.
especially on stressful days and stuff.
Yes.
Good.
Right. That's a
like
huge.
mine.
Well, you're in good company because
I'm
that's
in a different age, different state of mind. I need to wind down. It's not just start and go.
right.
I need more.
Anybody else feel that way? About their bathroom? They want to be able to wind down. Absolutely.
The builder grade stand up showers, not do it.
It's probably the size of a phone booth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little smaller.
Does everyone know what a phone booth? Yes. We're all okay. Yes. No millennials here. We know what phone booths are. All right. Yay. Right. The larger shower. Absolutely. Look how spacious these are. A bench where you can sit down and just kind of unwind, enjoy the steam, enjoy the hot water, shave your legs. It's how I shave my legs, sitting on a bench. Much easier. Or a nice soaking tub where you can really just unwind. Right? So spa-like atmosphere, can be features, but when we think about what are the materials, so a sense of openness might mean lower contrast, colors that resonate with you and your emotions, colors and materials that have a relationship to nature, blue skies, sea green water, sand. These are all things that help to create a spa-like atmosphere. And some of the accessories, the fun things. Gold is a great metal accent. It's not a gaudy gold. These are typically burnished, so they're not shiny. They have a lot of nuance to them where they take on some brown undertones. So they're much more luxurious feeling. What's great about them is that they are also incredibly versatile, where they can work with different color schemes. The way that they pop off of a navy blue, the way that with a wood countertop has that relationship to those tones, and can also be a little bit more subtle. It can pop on blue and pop on white as well, but when you have other elements in your kitchen, that layering that I mentioned earlier, it can also just make it feel very relaxed, very appropriate that you have a metal accent like that. So there are different ways to approach it. Now I'm going to talk about the next couple of things in some broad generalities, because if you're just getting started in remodeling, you've never done a project before. Ed, did I hear you've done 4 remodeling projects?
We've had 4 different houses.
You've had 4 different houses. You probably at least remodeled something in each of those 4 houses.
They were wrecked when we bought them.
Okay, well that can be fun.
Before the health shows up after the closing to find out what you're going to do with the house.
Wow. Okay, well as long as they don't tell you have to knock it over, because that would be terrible. Right. So a pro like Ed might know some of the basics in countertops and flooring, and I'm going to talk about some of them in terms of categories, just to give you a broad overview. So what we're seeing a lot in countertops for the most popular are quartzite, which is it's not a man-made stone, it's a natural stone, excuse me. It's very similar to granite in that it comes out of the ground, but it doesn't look like granite because of the mineral composition is slightly different. And with that, it has subtle tones to it, movement. Granite can be more punctuated and comes in, I call it kind of blotchy style. You might guess that's not my favorite kind of granite, if that's the way that I'm referring to it. We might see that in builder grade and starter homes, or when you go into the big box store and you're walking past, you see a big slab out there and it says, your kitchen, $59 a square foot, your whole countertop for $2,999. That's what you're getting. That's their come on, that's what they're providing for you. But quartzite, gorgeous, natural stone. We have our granite. Here's one, Ken approved, not that you need that, but has that movement in it and is much more subtle. So your natural products and then quartz, which is man-made. What I think the benefit most of all of quartz is, you remember my phobia of cross-contamination and germs, is that quartz being a man-made product, it's pulverized quartz and other stones in a resin, which means it's non-porous. There are no little cavities for germs, and that means it's easy to clean. You don't have to seal it. But there are commonalities in terms of price points. That's probably the question that I get the most. How much more expensive is one versus the other? There are so many different levels of pricing and so much overlap. So it is really less about price and more so, which one do you love? What are you willing to undertake in terms of maintenance? And how do you want it to function?
You
Yes.
said quartz is not porous. Does that mean the other two, they are porous?
That's correct, because they're a natural stone. Now, when they come out of fabrication, they're going to either be polished or honed, but either way, a sealant is applied. So I really appreciate you asking that question so that I can point that out. And that can be one of the things that you have to maintain, is that in a couple of years you might need to reapply that sealant. Right. Flooring. We have hardwood. People love hardwood. I love hardwood. People are daring enough to also include it in their kitchen, but you have to realize with the main walking paths, the things that you might drop, it's going to wear differently. But you have to appreciate hardwood, and that's part of the character of it. Vinyl flooring can look a lot like wood. This, which we installed now coming up on 7 years ago, has held up incredibly with all of the foot traffic, and for a product of its time did a very nice job of looking like wood. The technology is even better now. And it's what people are putting in their homes because it's completely waterproof and very durable. It's no real maintenance. You can mop, sweep, whatever. It's fantastic with pets because nothing is bulletproof. Anything will scratch, but it holds up very well to big dogs and them traipsing around. And then of course we have tile. Tile is great because it's bulletproof. If you drop a plate, who's gonna lose? Your hardwood's gonna lose. If you drop a plate, who's gonna lose? The plate. It's going to break, but your tile is going to survive. So it's about a durability, and if you have a lot of muddy foot traffic, tile might be the right decision for you too. Again, here, in terms of cost, many different levels, so a lot of commonality. The one question that I always ask is in terms of investment, understanding how that might fit into the budget with tile. I can get beautiful tile at $5 a square foot, same. Tile is going to have the largest installation cost. Lighting. I already talked about natural light. I love this project. Again, one of ours, our designer Sue, who's been with us for 12 years now, she completed this many years ago, and I just love it. For all of the light that it provides. It was an unconditioned area. You might not be able to see from your seats, but we installed those heat lamps that extend the season in which you can use it. Of course, all of those windows actually kind of retract one into the other, so you get amazing cross breezes. There's so many things that you can do that expand the idea of what a sunroom can be. But the power of natural light, now we're going to talk about artificial light, because even though the sun stayed up until 7 o'clock tonight, it's now dark. And we are all at this point dependent on our lighting systems. Layering your light system, I think, is incredibly important. And how does one layer light? Well, you're going to have your general or ambient light, and that's really what's illuminating this room. I think a more thoughtful lighting plan has more than just light coming from top to bottom. Particularly in a bathroom, there is a reason why a lot of bathrooms have those big globes in a line. And it's best when it's left and right rather than just across, because the evenness of that light. But it's still general light, but it allows you to better perform your grooming. And in a kitchen, just seeing what you're doing at an island with food prep. Or the next category, which is your task light. Your under cabinet lighting is your task light. It's illuminating the surface that you are cooking on. Or chopping, I should say, doing that food prep. And then accent lighting not only plays a role in beautification in the way that it highlights this bar area, but there's a functional component to it as well. I always recommend that with a layered lighting system, that what that means is they have their own controls so that you can put on what you want turn off what you don't. The way that creates different moods is fantastic. Dimmers are always a nice part of that also. So how do you know when you're selecting all of your materials that you're on the right track? Well, it comes together as a storyboard. We call them mood boards as well. We have one here that we often speak with homeowners about. And what do you think the benefit of a storyboard or a mood board is? Why would you want to be able to look at one?
Make sure the colors all kind of work together.
Yeah.
So the textures are all.
Textures.
Actually.
You're aiming for my job, sir. You used the word textures. Yes, exactly. You want to see the relationship of all of your materials and the way that they are coming together, the way the rhythm. So scale is something that we hadn't talked about, another important component, right? These are things that are going to give you confidence in. We have that beautiful neutral, light toned, and kind of as the other extreme, as we're seeing more rich tones and colors be used, deeper, darker with the accents, the way they create moods is really amazing. You want to see these materials come together. Are they harmonizing? Do I have a little bit of contrast? A lot of contrast? Do I want that level of contrast? Is something out of place? And being able to put it all together with the storyboard is what we do, because we are with you, obviously, through every step of the way, but every step of your selections process, we're carrying those samples along. You kind of get to see that relationship and utilize our experience and expertise in saying, is this coming together right? What would you suggest? All of those things are confirmed with the storyboard, and again, we get to then put those into our software. So it's, again, more than just design, because what we are doing for our, I want to make sure I'm on the right slide. Yes. Hang on, there we go. Our plans, the plans that we create that show your cabinet layout, your countertop layout, your electrical plan that we do via color coding so that we know what is remaining, what's being updated, and what is new. You'll have a complete understanding of that as well. And this is now, we have absolutely defined your scope of work. And you have the proof that you're going to get what you're expecting. And that also means my team is set up for success when it gets out into the field. They know exactly what they're doing. So plans are incredibly important. This one represents the changes in plumbing. Are we moving that range? We're going to move a gas line. If you never had a wall oven, that means we're going to need electric for that. Is it going to be a 120 line, a 220 line? Probably the more powerful. All of those things get figured out. I mentioned earlier our site visits and how important those things are, so that we are doing our investigative work, again, reducing the number of surprises or hidden costs. And getting our trade partners involved, painters, tilers, all of those people, the HVAC, again, very important. So those are the things that round out the consideration for your design. And getting all of those decisions made is awesome, but what are you going to do with that information? I mentioned the plans has to be well defined. It has to be well documented. And that's how you guarantee that all of the work that you do together with your designer is going to be faithfully executed. A project manager who's going to understand that. So we do a agreement like this. We call it our blue book. We love blue. I love blue. Our blue and white from our estimate, and now our blue book where we have all of your documentation. It's not uncommon for it to be up to 120 pages because we are putting every single detail. When you think about a backsplash, there are 6 different tiles in this example over here. You say 6, how is that possible? Well, there's 3 different colors, and this is a chevron pattern, which means they have a distinctive left and a distinctive right. So 6 different tiles make up that pattern. And which tile is the first one, which of those colors is the first one coming off the countertop? What is the spacing that is being used? What is my grout color? We're making all of those decisions with you, guiding you through that. Is my grout going to be permeable to splashes, sauce at the range? No, we use a grout that's going to be resistant to that. We call it power grout. We also use that in bathrooms because it is more resistant to mold, things of that nature. All that gets documented. Yes?
How many weeks down the line you're talking about?
That's a great question. Yeah.
To this stage?
There's several factors that go into that. One is sort of the dynamics of the project. How complex is it? Another is how decisive are you? Right? Whether that's, yeah, good. Then we can have one of these for you in 1 week. A little bit of an exaggeration there, but yes. Those factors go into it. But what we're doing also is working with those trade partners and others to know your exact cost, because there are no longer variables. We know, look, this was not easy to install. It took a lot of time. It's very different than if it was just 4x4 subway tile. And is that tile 50-50? Is it 70-30 offset? Are we stacking it straight up and down so you're seeing your grout lines be perfectly vertical, kind of creating a grid there? Each one of those options has a different installation cost. This is why when somebody says, well, we'll figure it out later, well, that's not a great way to start out, first of all, but they're going to come back to you with a change order. They're going to say, I didn't plan for this. This isn't what I thought you were going to do. And that's a really bad place to be in if you're working with a contractor who says, well, that's not what I thought you wanted. They got to find out what you want. So we do all of this documentation, and this way you have the confidence what you will be investing in is exactly what you want, and it's all detailed. So that means we can get into the build phase. Yay, the fun part. We're building now. This is awesome. It only took a week to put that blue book together. So these are some of the members of our production team, which is led by Kevin right here in the tan shirt. He oversees different project managers. It sounds like a fancy term, right? Does anyone have an idea what a project manager is? And if you don't, that's quite okay. You do. I know you do. You, oh, okay. All right. Good. You are.
That's why she's pointing at me.
Right.
You nudged it, like, you left work to hear that.
So there's a lot of coordination that goes in with that. Say, well, why do I need one? Well, just like your designer is a coordinator, now your designer is handing off to the guys in the field. We need a coordinator out there. Someone who's going to make sure that the works are happening when they are supposed to. The start date. We give you your start date when you approve your agreement. We tell you the duration of that project, and we hit that more than 95% of the time. If we do not, it's typically because you wanted to add the laundry room in, and you know that becomes part of the project as well. They are the coordinators of everything that's going to happen, and I would say in terms of importance, that's about 49%. What's more important than that? Communication. Working with you. They know everything that's going on, so they're updating you. They're keeping you informed of what's just been completed. They're talking with you. Hey, doesn't this look great? Is it faithful to the design? What's happening tomorrow? This is how we're going to be cleaning up today. And really, they are your coordinator, your helper through the build portion of this. And then we have in this row, carpenters, lead carpenters. We even have apprentices. It's not just a bunch of guys up on this board. Bella here came out of technical vocational school and started out as an apprentice and has now worked her way into becoming a carpenter. So everybody has their different role, and most importantly, we work together as a team. So here are a couple of guys kind of hanging out. After the project was completed, we had a really fun opportunity. Talk about a TV moment where the homeowner had been away for the entirety of their project. And we just love that people trust us in all the ways that you would trust somebody to do a job while you're not there, to build it right. And the family came in, and it was a big celebration. Our guys, all they really wanted to do, was play with the kids, because they really do kind of become part of the family. They love dogs. They've walked dogs before. There's just many things that our guys, they're so different. It really makes all the difference in terms of the experience for your project. But they're very highly committed to detail. They'll get in there and look up the fireplace just to make sure, is the dampener working correctly, using laser levels to make sure that all the shelving that we install is great. And on the left here, we have Tim doing a nice little cleanup from some work that he just performed. It's all about the details, and we're fully committed to those things. Your project manager is putting together your schedule. Does anyone? All right, Mr. Project Manager, you're not allowed to answer this one. Everyone but you. Do you guys know what that is? A Gantt chart, yes. So we put one together for you. Would anyone care to know what was going on with their project? I would hope so. You can follow along. That's what we do, is that we provide one for you. We have it hanging up there in your home. But also important with that is we do it digitally. I mean, that's where this comes out of. It's in some software, and we do it within our Builder Trend program. So that is software that's specific for the remodeling industry. It's where we create these. You will have access. You will have your own portal where you can see your schedule. You can see different communications. We start a chat there as well. And it's also great for daily logs. What is a daily log? It's what your project manager and carpenters do each day. It's a summation of the works. It's another way of communicating. It's great that your project manager is telling you, texting you, calling you, but also then what's been in the log with photos of the works that we've done. We use those to also kind of note the quality of the work. So when you'll see, why are they taking a lot of pictures of walls with wires running through them? Well, it demonstrates that we have secured those wires per code every X amount of feet. And then finally, yes, there will be a time when we are finished. You get to have your home back, which is awesome. And of course, the big reveal. And it's always exciting, even if you've been there every day. Just the sense, wow, this is mine now. I can't wait to start to use it. It's a wonderful moment. So I mentioned before our warranty. Does anyone remember what ours is? 3 years. Yes, absolutely. We also offer a lifetime service guarantee. A little hard to read now. So let me tell you, small print. First of all, when we come out to your house, we're going to give you this sheet. We're so proud of our warranty. It is so unique. You're going to get a copy of it just from the first time you meet your designer in a packet with some other information. Speaking about the lifetime service guarantee, basically when you've gone through a project like this, you are part of the Cipriani family. We want to be there for you, not only for this project and the length of time that we're going to stand behind all of our works, but for the remainder of the time that you're in this house. So if you have an issue or concern, give us a call and we'll come out there and help troubleshoot it. Ed had just finished working with the Thomases or the Kaisers? The Kaisers. We did their kitchen. Gorgeous project. Ed, I want to actually talk to you about doing an article, writing that up for an article for Medford. I'm totally serious. I meant to speak to you about that today. Gorgeous. And then it got a leak on the ceiling from the bathroom that had been there. We didn't do any work in the bathroom, and they called up Ed. Ed, I've got this leak. What should I do? Ed brought it to our attention. We got our plumber out there. We're there to help support you. We are a resource that you can call and rely upon. And that's really the essence of the lifetime service guarantee. And then the Kaisers had the option of, did they want to hire us to fix it? And they said yes. So that is the whole arc from planning all the way through. We've completed the big reveal and warranty. So who has some other questions that I can answer for you?
So what is this time frame? Give me the the range.
Sure.
If it is a small job, if it is a big job. So what is the range?
I think I can best answer that by talking about what is small and what is large. A typical hall bathroom, I would call that a smaller project. We're doing the entirety of it, replacing everything within it. The development period of time, again, really up to you guys, but can be as little as 5 weeks. Sometimes it's longer. A medium-sized project like a kitchen, add a few more weeks to that. Additions, where we have structural that need additional consideration, and we will do all of the figuring it out. Okay, we'll also figure out what is the right layout and all of those other things, but we also then take all of those decisions. We need an engineer to produce the drawings. They're going to be part of your agreement because they're going to have a lot of the specifications in it. They're necessary also then for permitting, sometimes zoning if you're adding on. That can be a factor in terms of the development. I mean, if you do it yourself, kind of going back to that thing, it could be months, even longer. I meet with a lot of people. How long have you been planning this project? I'll ask them. They go, about a year and a half. Really? I'm like, so you've just been thinking about it for a year and a half? No, I've been trying to figure this out for a year and a half. So again, it varies, right? And people are very busy as well. So it's not just decisiveness. It's about how much time do you have in your life? How much space in your life do you have to develop it, to manage it? And that's where you can rely on our team to be your guide, to make recommendations. Now, they're just never going to make a decision carte blanche. They're going to make a recommendation and tell you why they think that this is the right direction for you to go. Whether that is a brand of window, or something a little bit more complex that can say, well, I know from experience you do want that wow pull out. You don't want the other one that only extends this far, because I know how important that is to you. Okay? So how much space do you have in your life will be another part of that. And again, another reason why you can rely on my team.
Actual construction time. Like for a full kitchen?
Yes. Full kitchen with removing a wall or not removing a wall?
We'll say no wall removal.
Okay.
Sheetrock, everything.
Right.
I can't imagine anything's really usable.
All right.
The way it is.
How long would you like it to be? No, seriously.
I'm wondering how long it would be unusable.
Okay. Because you see, what you see on TV is wild.
Yeah.
Do they do everything in a month? I don't care how big the project is. It's always seemed to be done in a month. Right. Technically, it's done in 30 or 60 minutes, but the way that they play it out, we just remodeled this entire house in a month. I think they're fibbing. And there's also about 200 people on a TV production crew that are pitching in as well. So we like to think of it from the perspective of, and I'm not being coy, I'll answer your question in a minute, it should take as long as it should take for quality work. You don't want to cut corners, you don't want to rush things. You want to take the right steps in between, in the right order and the right steps. You don't want somebody rushing through, oh man, I didn't bid this job right, I'm losing money, I got to get on to my next job, so I'm not going to worry about smoothing out the back of the tile to make sure I get a good grip. I'm just throw it on there, slap it on the wall, squish it into place, and move on. So quality work is worth it. But a full kitchen remodel is typical. It could be 6 to 8 weeks. It could be 8 to 10 weeks. I don't see a lot that are in excess of that, but it's not out of the question.
When you do it, do you do it so that you at least can cook and clean?
Plan in your budget how much you're gonna be eating out.
Yeah.
So you do have to budget for things like that. Well, no, thankfully not 10 weeks, right? When I go back to that calendar, that schedule that we'll have up there, one of the things that we're looking at also is how can we accommodate you, and how can we also do this project in a cost-effective manner? So what does that mean? We want to take out everything that we are deconstructing at one time. If you're doing it in stages, you're adding to the cost. So unfortunately, that means one of the first things to go is the use of your range. We can move your refrigerator. We can help you get set up with a hot pot or something of that nature, and we do that frequently. So we have ways of easing that, right?
Camp stove.
But the nice thing is you're going to know, you have the benefit. You have the benefit of knowing when are your cabinets going to be installed, when are my countertops going in. Countertops going in a kitchen is the biggest pivotal moment. It's like night and day because now things are really starting to chug along. Because up until that, I have nowhere to mount my sink. I have nowhere I can install the faucet. I can't slide my range in because the range is in the way until they actually install the countertops. So it's a big pivotal moment. You'll know when that's happening, and you'll know when that's going to be completed, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm hitting the home stretch here now. This is going to be awesome, right? So you can get to see the progress, and then start. Cipriani's team has been amazing. They're staying on schedule. They told me that I would be done for the 4th of July. I'm buying those hot dog buns. I'm going to be having a big old party. So you get to start to plan and put your life back together. So at least, there are workarounds, but maintaining a schedule is probably the biggest part, because that's why I asked, how long would you like it to be? In the wrong hands, a kitchen remodel could take 4 months. If somebody's juggling multiple projects and everybody's got to get a little bit of attention, nobody wins. Our project managers are seeing your project through from beginning to end, and you get to see the evidence of that in the way that it tracks across beginning to end. Like I said, you get your start date when you approve your agreement. We're going to tell you what that duration is, so you're going to know what your end date is.
What are those guarantees? What can we build in to help the process end when
Sure.
your subs are going to get bumped, or they're going to get lost when the cabinets don't come in, so the tile guy's like, I'm out of here. How do we help you stay honest
Sure.
with that?
Well, that's why I mentioned we have.
Quotes, not that you're dishonest.
No, fair enough. That's why I mentioned we've got 3 or 4 different trade partners, so we always have somebody to go to. If, smaller operations, somebody gets sick, they're out that day, it creates a chain of events, a butterfly effect, right? But if something were to happen, we've got another top quality team, another A team that we can come in and perform those works. Our responsibility is to monitor the supply chain also, so that we don't have any delays. We pre-order everything before your job begins. Once you approve your agreement, we're ordering materials, so we can manage them. When things come in, we're opening boxes, we're checking. If we ordered 6 of something, did I get all 6? If I had 3 that were all rubbed bronze and I had 3 that were polished nickel, did I get the 3 that I needed of each? So there are ways of mitigating any kind of risk by good project management.
So you have your own warehouse then? You're buying the stuff and storing it till you need it type of thing?
We have, with some of our showrooms, they will store it with us. We can go on site and inspect it. Some things we'll have delivered here. So there are many different ways to manage that. Yes. Just to let you guys know, still we want to be bringing things into your home on a more of an on-time delivery, but we need things.
Just in time, JIT.
Just in time. Love it. Yeah, so they can acclimate. So they can acclimate to humidity and temperature from out there being in a warehouse. Yes.
If you are working on kitchen and bathroom, do you work parallelly or one after the another? Like you finish the kitchen, then you move on to the bathroom, or you run parallel?
We can do it any way. It's the way that you would like to approach it. Because some people say, yes, I'll do both of them at the same time, because there will be cost savings that can be realized with that. So the guy who's doing the tile is tiling your bathroom and has all of his equipment set up, and then he's going to roll right over into your kitchen. So even though they might have different tracks, we're able to provide it for you more economically because of that efficiency. Our drywallers are doing the same work at that time, things of that nature. But it's however you guys want to approach it. That's the beauty of it. We can accommodate any way.
I have a hall bath and a stall attached bath, and a vanity downstairs. So how you do? You do the top one first and then you come down? Definitely, I will let you.
So again, this is something that your designer would discuss with you to talk about which order makes sense for you, and then we can come up with a plan to satisfy that.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
naturally you will not do the bottom one first and then move on to the top one, because it may cause damage to the bottom one, which you did first time around.
I don't see any additional risk, but I appreciate your logic, and I think it's otherwise pretty solid. Sometimes it is better to start at the top and work your way down. Just a little bit easier that way.
And one more thing.
Yeah.
Like the refrigerator, when we bought that one, the Best Buy told us that if your main door is not this much wide, the installer will have to take the doors out. That's what they did when they bought it. They tried to take the whole assembly,
Right.
and it don't go in. So what they did is they took out the doors.
Right.
And the
Right.
fridge, the pull out.
Yeah. What?
And then they assembled it. Now in the kitchen, all the openings are same size as the main door. So what you do if you have to work in the kitchen, you have to move the refrigerator, but you do not have any opening, which is bigger than the main opening. So
Yeah.
you'll have to keep the refrigerator inside the kitchen while you are working in the kitchen. Is it is it possible? You have to move the kitchen out of the refrigerator out of the kitchen.
Right.
Then you take care of the kitchen. Then you bring it back, right?
Yes, that is one approach for that. Again,
there
there.
are people who can take these doors out
Yes.
in more ways.
Yes. So, if it can't be avoided, where you have to take out a window, take out a door, sometimes we'll take out a window to boom in entire shipments of drywall to a second story, a third story. It's better than carrying it up and through. Yes, we can do all of that. With good planning, you don't need to do that. I always think of the Friends episode where they're moving the sofa up the pivot. Best scene ever. Is knowing, what are you ordering? Will it fit? Things like that. So I'll say if you guys have any other questions, try to get some one-on-one time with Ed and Manny, or you can have your questions answered by having one of our designers come out to your house. Again, Todd is back here ready to look at your calendars to coordinate that. He'll give you a little reminder card, and of course that important sticker that's going to get you a $25 gift certificate to Lowe's. So I want to thank everyone for attending. Certainly no need to rush out so we can continue the conversation, but I thank you again for attending.